This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You chose to hit play on this podcast today. Smart choice. Make another smart choice with Auto Quote Explorer to compare rates from multiple car insurance companies all at once. Try it at progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
If your roof starts to leak or your floors really squeak, you live in a money pit. Money pit.
If your basement needs a pump or your place looks like a dump, you live in a money pit. Money pit. Pick up the telephone.
Fix up your home sweet home by calling 888-MONEY-PIT. The Money Pit is presented by Dyche Coatings. Now here's Leslie Segretti.
Coast to coast and floorboards to shingles, this is the Money Pit. 2 weeks to Christmas, Jim. What are you doing? What'd you get me?
It wouldn't be a surprise then, would it?
Is it a name tag that says I'm Leslie Segretti because I forgot to say my name?
Nope.
Ah!
Reminder name tag.
What's my name? Oh, Leslie Segretti from the Money Pit. You know, it's such a busy time of year that you do forget all of the normal, regular things. And that's what we're here for. We're here to help you keep your home in tip-top shape, help you keep your noggin on straight so that you're getting through the finish line of the Christmas morning and just making everything perfect for your family and friends. And listen, perfect doesn't always have to mean perfect. It can mean the best, most wonderful thing for you and your family, and that's what we're here to give a hand with. So let's get right to the show this hour. We've got a lot to help you guys with before the big celebration. So coming up, are you planning a project in the new year? We will share with you the top 5 most common remodeling mistakes. And now that the cold temperatures have begun to set in, are you constantly looking for that heavier sweater? Are you sleeping in flannel PJs? Well, if your house or your apartment are feeling drafty and cold, space heaters could be a solution. So we're going to share how you can select one that won't cost you a bundle to run and, not burn down your house in the process. And also ahead, is this the weekend that you're heading out to buy a Christmas tree? Well, we're going to tell you how to know if that perfect tree is actually fresh or not. Lots to cover this busy weekend, so give us a call at 888-MONEY-PIT so we can lend you a hand. Jim, who's up first?
Going out to Point Roberts, Washington, Leslie, we've got Linda on the line who would like to speak about kitchen countertops. How can we help out?
Thank you so much for your information. Your show's excellent.
Oh, Linda, you're so sweet. Tell us what's going on.
I bought this house that was built in the 80s, and I've never liked these very, very dark forest green Formica countertops. I just wanted to know about these new products that I could sort of paint over. Do I have to sand Formica first or put on any kind of kills or anything that's going to make it work properly?
All right. So it sounds like you're talking about Dyche Coatings, and we here at the Money Pit love their product very much. They have been a sponsor on the show, but we actually use the product. I've used the product on Hotel Impossible. We've used it in our own homes. We've used it at friends' homes. We've used it at rental properties. It's a great product if you have a very solid sort of Formica countertop that you don't like the color of, that you're just tired of, but you don't want to spend a ton of money in getting a solid surface. You can actually, through Dyche Coatings, look at their line of things. There's one called Lux Rock. There's one called Marble Dream. Lux Rock, it's a kit. It ends up looking just like granite. It is very, very easy to do. It's super user-friendly. There's a ton of different color options. And I promise you, once applied and sort of followed through in the steps, it's going to look great. Marble Dream is the same. The issue, though, is make sure that Formica on your countertop is well adhered. You don't want to have any structural damage in the countertop itself. But basically, everything you need is right there in the kit. You just kind of lightly sand that Formica just to rough up the surface a smidge so that the paint product sticks to it very, very well. I mean, it's really great. You can check them out at DycheCoatings.com, and that's D-A-I-C-H. It's a great option for your situation, and it's very, very user-friendly, and the prices as well.
It sounds perfect, and I can follow your instructions perfectly. Thank you both.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thanks so much for calling us at 888-MONEY-PIT.
Jeremy is in Pennsylvania, and he's dealing with a leaky basement, and boy, can I relate to that. What can we do for you, Jeremy?
I have a finished basement that has block foundation, and I have a small leak that it's not pulling up water or anything like that. It just kind of causes me some moisture problems. Smells kind of musty and damp and things like that.
All right. Well, boys, I'm sorry you're both dealing with this. Jeremy, where is the leak?
Before I finished it, it was at the corner of the slab and the block wall, and it seemed like it was coming up from underneath. I sealed it, I think, inadvertently with dry lock, and I don't think that necessarily did the trick. And I didn't know if there was another thing that I could do without gutting the basement completely, because I have, laminate floor down and drywall up. If there's anything I can do from the outside.
All right, but does it get worse after a heavy rain?
It has before. It hasn't gotten much worse, no.
But it does kind of seem somewhat consistent with how much rain you're getting outside, correct? All right, so listen, the good news is that there's nothing you need to do inside the house to fix this. The problem's outside, and I would suspect that because this is at a corner, you may have a downspout near that area of the house, but generally, if you have a leak against the foundation wall like that, it's caused more by drainage than it is by anything like a rising water table. So if you look outside the foundation in that area, you're going to probably see that you have a blocked gutter, or maybe you have a gutter that doesn't have enough downspouts, or you've got downspouts that are discharging that water too close to the house. And when you have a moisture problem, you really want to move those spouts out about 4 to 6 feet, or perhaps you could have some grading that's too flat and it doesn't allow the water to go away from the house. That first 4 to 6 feet around the home's perimeter is really the most critical. And if the water is allowed to sort of sit and collect that close to the house, what's going to happen is you're going to get that moisture right back down into the basement. So the solution there is to fix the drainage outside, and then the inside is going to fix itself.
I think it's probably a combination of the two. I have a gutter right there in that corner, and then I think my grading I think it actually comes towards the house.
Yeah, that sounds like a double whammy, kind of like a recipe for disaster, right?
No doubt.
All right, well, start by getting that downspout extended, and then you could see an instant result, okay?
Okay, terrific. Thank you so much.
All right, well, Jeremy's spoken. Good luck with that project. I knew you'd get a kick out of that, Jim.
Spoke here.
We don't want to give Pearl Jim the money, so just cool it, Jim.
DSW, Designer Shoe Warehouse, is the one-stop shop for all your footwear needs. With sneakers, boots, and everything in between for every style, mood, and occasion, you'll definitely find shoes that get you at prices that get your budget. DSW has what you need, but more importantly, they have what you didn't even know you wanted. You never know what you'll find at DSW. Find the shoes that get you at prices that get your budget at DSW stores or DSW.com.
Hey, you want to make our day? Well, go ahead and leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, and we'll be jumping for joy. Plus, you guys, your feedback helps us make the show even better for you. Just go to moneypit.com/review.
All right, we've got some door issues with Taylor, who's in somebody's home state of, was it Who do
I know? That's from Michigan.
Not sure, but anyway, we do have Taylor there. Taylor, how can we help out?
Oh, it's you.
I knew it was somebody. Taylor, how can we help you out?
Well, my neighbor Jim is really a pain in the butt. What? Taylor? No, I'm kidding.
Taylor, I can hear you.
All right, Taylor, what's going on?
We were having some swelling around our doors, and so it sticks when you shut it. And we were wondering if, besides sanding it, if there's anything that you can do to help fix that issue.
Yeah, when it comes to doors sticking, I mean, that could just be the general, expansion during the warm, humid times of the year. You'll find that when it's cooler and drier, the door tends to get a little bit smaller and maybe not stick as much. But you have to kind of determine where exactly it's sticking, because that will tell you what you have to do. Once you can sort of pinpoint that, then we can better help you.
Yeah, on both of our doors that have that issue, we've noticed it towards the top of the door. So that part might be leaning a little bit, I think.
All right, so you've tightened the screws and the hinges just to see if they've loosened themselves and it's kind of fitting in the jamb itself. You tried that?
Yeah, we have tried that.
And, typically if the door is not closing properly, it just means it's not adjusted correctly. And a door can only move in so many ways. So you kind of just have to pay attention. When it's closing, look for the unevenness. Like, what's hitting first? Is it a corner? Is it one side of it? Is it the jamb? Is it the lock? Like, what is it? And as you start to notice it, I mean, the other thing you can do is just rub the areas that you think are problematic with like a dark lipstick. Some people use chalk, but I don't think I can really see the chalk unless you get colorful kids chalk and rub it along the edge of the door. And then that sort of leaves its print on the jamb where it's struggling. And then what you can do is just kind of trial and error, because some screws pick it up, some screws pull it back, some screws set it more forward, some screws set it more back. So it's kind of just realigning the door by tightening the thing or loosening the thing that's causing the door to be sort of off balance and getting stuck in the places that it is. Does that make sense?
Okay.
You know what? There's also a great video online. It's called DIY Door Alignment for Smart Locks. You can find it on YouTube. It's also on moneypit.com. And that will help you sort of figure out ways to pinpoint the issues as well. And it's a super easy fix once you kind of see what's going on.
Awesome. Great. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks so much for calling us at 888-MONEYPIT. Well, home improvement can be one of the most rewarding times of home ownership, but with the excitement of planning a new project, it really is easy to make errors that can end up driving costs way beyond what you've budgeted. So here's our list of the big errors that we hear about that come up over and over again. First up is over improving. While a lot of projects do contribute real value to your property, others have about the same resale value as losing a lottery ticket. Well, a losing lottery ticket. You don't want to lose a winning lottery ticket.
Oh, that would be a loser.
You know
that
what I'm
would
saying.
be a loser.
That would be a real loser. But if the value of your current home plus the cost of the home improvement that you're planning exceeds the average home value in your area, it's just like a losing lottery ticket. You're never going to get the return on your home improvement investment. But bathrooms, kitchens, decks, those usually do provide the best return on your investment, so you can gear your projects to that. And projects that are geared more towards personal taste, like decorating, for example, it's not really going to improve your value, but it is going to improve how you enjoy and how you live in your home. So there is personal value to that, but you're not going to see resale value on that. Now, planning your work and working your plan before you hire a remodeling contractor, do your homework, research products, read reviews. You have to kind of develop a mind towards like the specifications of your project, and then kind of identify the products that you want to include in that remodel. So for a small project, you can do yourself, but for a larger job, hire that architect or the designer or the pro. You kind of have to figure out what that project is, what you can do for it, and then work from there. Now, another issue is not minding the zone. When you're building a new shed or a fence, it could seem like it's an easy enough home improvement project, but it could quickly turn into a legal nightmare if you don't first check that local land and zoning code for your property. Even if your project gets completed without a visit from that local zoning official, a violation really could haunt you for years when it comes time to sell your house. So make sure if you're putting up a fence or anything like that, that you are staying on your property and you are following the laws and the rules of your town. Now, when it comes to contracts, you want to make sure that all of your agreements with the contractor is in writing. A good contract will include a clear statement of the scope of the work. It's going to list materials and total contract price and a schedule of payments, when the job starts, and the completion dates. For smaller projects, just get in the habit of writing a quick email to the contractor who gave you the price for a project to just kind of confirm those details. Include the price you spoke about, the schedule you spoke about, because you may have heard that then and there, but if it's not in writing, you kind of don't have a leg to stand on as things change as you go forward. So it just kind of keeps you and your contractor, working honestly and hand in hand. And the last mistake people make is not having a permit. In a lot of areas of the country, getting a building permit is a requirement before you start a home improvement project. Some contractors might attempt to make getting the permit the responsibility of the homeowner, but that's a big mistake. You should make that contractor responsible for getting the permit and complying with the building code every single step of the way. That local building inspector is going to be your best resource for making sure that you get the job done properly. Do it once, do it right, and you won't have to do it again. Do you have a question about a project you're thinking of doing next year? Well, well, give us a call now at 888-MONEY-PIT. Jim, who's up?
Leslie, we've got Robin on hold, and she's looking for a new home. She wants to relax, but that's not what's happening with the mold in her jacuzzi. Ew.
Yeah.
What's going on, Robin?
We have this large bathtub jacuzzi, and it has a marble stairs and trim around it. And it's a beautiful jacuzzi, but I noticed that the pipes, there was like, I don't know if it's like mold coming out of it or what. When we got the house, it sat for a while, and then we filled it up and put palm olive dishwashing liquid in it, and tried to clean it out.
Oh, yeah. And when that mold is like coming out of the inside of a pipe, because I had a sink back up and it was coming through the overflow drains, and like the sheets of mold, it was disgusting. So I know this is disgusting. All right. So, Robin, you put dish soap in there. Was it like the sudsiest thing ever, like you would see in the movies?
That's what they said to do. And anyway, we also got it glazed or painted, as they usually say. It kind of faded off, and we had the fixtures painted too, and we thought the people that were doing it were really reputable, but now the fixtures, where the jets are, the rings around the jets, the paint's kind of fading. And
all right. Well, it sounds like you're actually talking about two issues here. Number one, you've got some sort of growth that's inside the internal plumbing system of your jetted tub. And secondly, the finish of that jetted tub has started to fade. And you restored it a bit ago, but now that restored finish is fading, chipping, etc. So let's go with the plumbing issue first. There really is a good way to do it. It's kind of caustic, chemically. And I don't know that you can actually do it for a jetted tub, which is generally fiberglass, because it's kind of hard to do when, cast iron's in the tub and sinks that folks love to restore. But I mean, that whole process is kind of chemically or caustic. And then the products that they sell, you kind of paint over them, and they don't nearly have the life expectancy that you would hope for. So in terms of whatever's going on with the internal plumbing system, I would use a bleach solution. So if you were to fill the tub up and run it, maybe you fill the tub and have a half gallon or a gallon of bleach in that water and then run it through the jets. That should definitely help to sanitize anything that's growing in there. So fill it up with hot water, put the bleach in, let it run for a while. Don't put anything sudsy in there because it's just going to cause a giant mess, and sometimes that could leave a residue itself. But I think a hot water and bleach should do the job well.
Unless she's on a septic system, because you really don't want to use bleach in a septic system.
Yeah, that's a good point, Jim. So if it's not a septic system, bleach and water. If it is, you would want to use a sort of more environmentally safe dish soap.
I would try like a Simple Green.
You think that'll work on that?
It's not going to hurt anything if I'm wrong.
And that doesn't mess up the septic system?
No, but Simple Green sponsors us, and we have big money to recommend them. Just kidding, Leslie. I would give it a try because it is good for the environment, and if it doesn't work, it's not going to hurt anything.
Yeah, and you know what? You're not even using the tub anyway because you're kind of grossed out by it. So at least try these methods and see if it makes you feel any better, see if things come out clean. But I know it looks pretty gross when the mold comes out of those pipes. Now, when it comes to the glaze, I mean, you've already refinished it once. So I don't think at this point it's worth the money or the time to refinish it again. So if it's tolerable and not peeling, or it's not, too damaged in any way, shape, or form where it's eventually going to leak, I say just ride it out until it's time to replace it. And maybe you'll replace it with a non-jetted one so you don't feel so yuck about it.
Okay, so I'll probably just replace it.
All right. Well, thank you so much for calling us at 888-MONEY-PIT.
When you walk into a Burlington, you're walking into amazing prices and great gifts. That's main character energy. Because at Burlington, the holiday savings aren't the only things turning heads. Discover quality finds and perfect presents for everyone on your list, even those who are hard to shop for. Toys and jewelry to new beauty brands and styles, these gifts go seamlessly from our stores to under your tree. Seriously, with these savings, why shop anywhere else?
Burlington deals, brands, wow.
Ford Blue Cruise hands-free highway driving takes the work out of being behind the wheel, allowing you to relax and reconnect, while also staying in control. Enjoy the drive in Blue Cruise-enabled vehicles like the F-150, Explorer, and Mustang Mach-E. Available feature on equipped vehicles. Terms apply. Does not replace safe driving. See Ford.com/BlueCruise for more details.
Hey guys, are you looking for a quick holiday decor tip? Well, if you are decking the halls this season, but want to avoid drilling, taping, or tacking your trim, removable adhesive hooks are about to become your best holiday decorating tool. Instead of hammering nails into your walls, the mantle, the door frame, you can use clear or color-matched command hooks. You can hang wreaths, lights, stockings, garlands, even holiday signs or string lights inside your windows. They stick strong, they hold really well, and come off cleanly when the holidays are over. No damage, no patching, no regrets. You want to hide cords from window candles or plug in garlands? You can use smaller hooks to neatly guide those cords down the back of furniture or along the wall so they're out of sight but easy to access. And here's a bonus trick, guys. Flip those hooks upside down. I use that a lot when I'm hanging garland. You can also use it on the backside of a door to secure the ribbon from hanging a wreath without showing any hardware on the front. Awesome tip. Great trick. It's fast, it's renter friendly, and it saves your trim from unnecessary holes so that you can celebrate without the spackle come January. Gotta love that. No repairs necessary. Jim, who's up next?
Let's head out to Illinois, where we've got Paul, and he's dealing with an old home with some roofing issues. Please fill us in with a little more detail there, Paul.
Slate roof, having a hard time. Gutters, they're backing up. The roof's 30 foot tall, so I'm having a hard time getting up there. And this time it's hard to get anybody out here to do it. So,
well, what kind of gutters do you have? Have you heard them being called anything?
These are the box gutters.
All right, so they're built into the house, the box gutters. So basically your roof is kind of flat at that front edge, and then it has a trough built into it where that water's supposed to collect and then run down a downspout, correct?
Yes, and I have probably a 3 foot soffit underneath it, like a big overhang.
Yeah, and I mean, they probably clog up at the spouts a lot because those holes are pretty small. I mean, even though you've got a big, wide built-in gutter system there, one of the things that you can do to kind of help this, and that's typically the repair you do when you get tired of this type of gutter, is that you add to the front edge of the roof. So right now you've got this kind of flat section, and then you have a pitch section, right? So generally what a roofer will do is that they'll build the pitch section over that flat box gutter and then put a traditional gutter on the outside of that. And in doing so, you're bypassing that box gutter system because you're getting backups, you're having issues cleaning it. But usually those built-in gutters will just kind of wear out pretty quickly and not last nearly as long as a metal gutter would.
Yeah, I think you're right on the path because the problem is that my downspouts are not big enough and I don't have enough on the house.
Yeah, so I think in this situation, you kind of either have to make sure that everything is free flowing, nothing is blocked, or you can kind of extend the roof over that built-in and put a properly sized, better functioning gutter system on the house. I think if you're putting in a traditional 5-inch or 6-inch gutter, that should definitely do the trick. They're bigger. They virtually never clog. You can also put in a gutter guard so that you don't ever have to clean, since you said that the roof is kind of high up and you don't know how to get up there. Let it be put on with the gutter guard so that this way you're saving yourself from a chore that, quite frankly, you're not comfortable with and could be dangerous.
I really appreciate your help.
All right. Well, you got it. Good luck with that project.
And Leslie, on gutters, you really can't go too big. So if it's a question of one size or the other, go big.
Yeah, go larger, unless it's a budget buster. I don't really know how they compare price-wise.
They're more, but if they're saving you major headaches, and the gutter guards are a little more expensive, but it's so close, that's the time to do it.
All right, well, there you have it. Well, if you feel a draft in your home or your apartment, do you turn to space heaters to take the edge off? Here's how to choose one that's both efficient but also safe. First thing to know is that there are basically two different types of space heaters, radiant and convection, and they work very differently from each other. Now, radiant heating warms objects, including you, by radiating heat, as the name implies. Convection heaters, on the other hand, warms the air in the room and will eventually warm the entire room, providing you buy one that's the appropriate size for the room you want to heat. So in short, if you're looking to warm just a certain area, say your favorite chair where you curl up each evening to watch TV or read, then a radiant heater is going to work just fine. But if you want to heat the whole room, a convection heater is definitely the better choice for you. There's different sizes and different styles for both types of space heating units, ranging from tabletop to larger freestanding convection units for warming an entire room. Some look like mini radiators. Others are filled with oil or water, while some are ceramic convection heaters that'll pull in the cold air, warm it, and then release that warmed air back into the room. So a lot of different options out there for you to consider. And pricing on space heaters can be as low as $40 or go up to well over $200. And bear in mind, if you're paying your own electric bill, they're going to add to that expense, although most are fairly efficient. So in very general terms, supposing you use that heater every day for, say, 6 to 8 hours, you can expect it to add $20 to $30 per month on your electric bill. Not terrible if you're super chilly. You know, you could buy a new sweater too, but that's the cost of running those space heaters. All right, Jim, let's get back to the phones. Who's up next for the Money Pit?
All right, Leslie, we've got Carolyn in Pennsylvania holding, and she's doing some organizing, finding a stubborn cabinet odor. Ugh. What's going on, Carolyn?
Well, yes, what we have is a cabinet in our kitchen. It is underneath our countertop. We have a granite countertop, and it's our Lazy Susan. It's the cabinet in the corner. And about 1.5 years ago, we had moved temporarily out of state for my husband's job. And apparently I might have, right before leaving, cleaned a dish and put it in that cabinet, and maybe, I'm assuming, it wasn't completely dry all the way. And then when we returned from our 3 months away, lo and behold, every time we'd come into the kitchen, my husband said, there's some kind of a smell here. And then we ended up opening this cabinet, and lo and behold, there was a little green just haze on, and it was mold. So there's no more mold in it, but there's still this sort of lingering kind of a musty smell.
You have a guess, Jim? What's your guess?
Dead mouse.
I mean, anytime there's a funky smell, I'm always like, rodent? Is there a dead rodent somewhere?
Exactly.
And it's definitely, I mean, maybe it's just because, I'm a New Yorker. When I smell something like, bleh, I'm like, oh God, there's an animal under a desk somewhere in a cabinet. We better find it. But no, it could be that when you put that wet dish back in the cupboard and close the door, and of course the kitchen cabinet is generally to the exterior wall, maybe it was warm and that dish got a little like muggy in the cabinet, and then all of a sudden it went through and became like moldy. But you have to be careful because it could have spread mold to an area under the cabinet. You just kind of have to look around and see what's going on, because it could just be that the mold has spread to areas that you haven't been able to see, or maybe you just can't get to it. Like maybe it's behind a kickboard. Maybe it's behind some sort of a trim. I mean, I don't know how much moisture you got in there, but if you've closed that door and that plate is wet and it's warm, it's going to kind of get steamy and have a lot of moisture and condensation in there. And then it's going to be more wet, even though that plate might not have been totally wet. So I think that's what you need to do. You have to look at the kickboard on the floor. You have to look in the areas that maybe you're just not seeing, and then clean everything with bleach, water, let it dry really well, keep those cabinet doors open, and then maybe you want to paint the interior if that smell still persists, but hopefully at that point you've gone and gotten rid of all of that mold or mildew growth.
Yeah, because of the inserts where the Lazy Susan, where it kind of turns around the turntable. I kind of did my best, but yeah. And the kickboard. Well, thank you very much. That's great.
All right. Well, good luck with that project that you hadn't planned on doing. Aren't those always the fun ones, Jim, when you're like, look, I'm doing something great. And then all of a sudden you're like, now I have to do a million other things because that great thing was dumb.
Or my 6 favorite words, all you got to do is, well, until you start.
This episode is brought to you by Casamigos Tequila. What do you bring to a holiday party? Simple. A bottle of Casamigos. Because nothing gets the party started like a Casamigos margarita, which isn't just for summer. In fact, it's the perfect pour all year round. Casamigos is the gift that always feels right. Because anything goes with my Casamigos. Please drink responsibly. Imported by Casamigos Spirits Company, White Plains, New York. Casamigos Tequila, 40% alcohol by volume.
Disney's Lilo & Stitch has finally landed on Disney+. Now you can watch the global phenomenon at home with your Ohana.
Be good for 1 second.
Lilo and Stitch is verified hot on Rotten Tomatoes with an audience score of 93%.
Perfect.
Stitch is also cute and fluffy.
Disney's Lilo and Stitch, rated PG, now streaming on Disney Plus. And right now, you can get Disney Plus, Hulu, and all of ESPN with an incredible limited time offer. Terms apply.
Well, shopping for a fresh Christmas tree is a fun holiday activity that the whole family enjoys. So to make sure that that tree is right for you, here's a few things to keep in mind to make sure the tree fits and is fresh enough to last all the way past the new year. They never seem to last till my birthday in February, but that's always kind of the goal. Now, the needles should look shiny, green, and fresh. They shouldn't be dry or brown, and they shouldn't fall off when you pull on a branch. You also need to remember the space for both the tree horizontally and vertically. I mean, people are like, oh, it looks like it's going to fit. But I swear sometimes those trees like just grow in size from the lot to the house. So bring that tape measure with you. Make sure you want the tree to fit. Make sure you leave room for the star. All of that. You also want to look for a tree with strong branches like a Fraser or Noble fir. We always get a Royal Fraser. They're beautiful. They smell great. They really hold the ornaments. And if possible, lay the tree inside the car for the drive home. If you drive with the tree on your roof, make sure you tie it down securely. When we got our tree this year, we were tying it up top, and the guy at the tree stand was like, how far do you live? Because this one's only going to last 15 minutes, this knot. So make sure. And then he's like, I'm just busting your chops. And we're like, yeah, we know. Also, we tied it to the car, dodo bird. Anyway, trees are great. They really look wonderful for the season. So if you're buying that fresh tree, make sure you do your research and buy a good one that's going to last. And if buying a fresh tree isn't for you, check out the amazing options in those artificial trees. A lot of them come pre-lit. They really look beautiful. There's actually a good guide for buying artificial trees at moneypit.com. Now, how can we help you decorate? Jim, who's on the line?
Leslie, Larry in Louisiana. That's a lot of L's. Leslie, Larry, Louisiana. Yeah.
Leslie, Larry, Louisiana.
You're rubbing off on me. Larry needs some help at home. What are you working on, Larry?
I have a pier and beam house that had an addition added on to it, and the addition is starting to sink and is causing a bow in the flooring in the kitchen.
All right. So what kind of foundation do you think that addition has?
It was under a concrete little runners that ran around the house.
When you say concrete runners, are you talking about a concrete footing?
Well, it's split. It's maybe every 5-6 foot. It's like a 1 foot thick piece of concrete that runs down a channel, and then they put these other concrete pieces that sit on top of it to where they put the foundation of the house on it.
All right. Well, it sounds like a standard footing with a concrete block foundation. And if you're getting movement there, that's definitely a concern. It kind of points to some sort of failure in the way that foundation was designed. How much would you say that you're seeing that it's shifting or sinking? I mean, are we talking about a lot? Are you seeing a lot of movement?
There's a bow in the kitchen. It's probably about a 10-12 degree angle coming off of it.
Ooh.
That is pretty significant. And unfortunately, you're going to have this looked at by a structural engineer, because there's definitely something going on. And any sort of repair that any contractor is going to come in is just going to sort of be guesswork. Whereas a structural engineer will say, this is the problem, and this is my opinion on the way that you're going to fix it. And that's what you really need to do, because that's a huge movement, that 10 to 12 degree dip in the floor.
No doubt.
You want to have this investigated, and you want to have it investigated sooner than later, because it could be dangerous. I mean, you could check the website for the American Society of Home Inspectors. They should be able to point you in the direction of, a good certified home inspector to come in. We can find you a structural engineer in your area who can come in, and they will tell you how to get this stabilized. Good luck with that. Let us know what happened. As Tom would always say, it's the ho-ho home improvement time of year.
Yeah, I miss hearing that.
I know, right? Well, we could say it too. It's the ho-ho home improvement time of year. And we're missing Tom, and we're always missing our family that's no longer with us this time of year, especially around the holidays. So let's reach out to our email friends out there. Maybe they're missing their friends too. Maybe they've got some projects they need a hand with, and we can be that missing family member. What do you think, Jim? We got a good one this hour?
We've got Chase in Colorado. He says, my wife and I just bought our very first house, and we want to replace the faucets in the bathroom and the kitchen sinks. We have zero DIY skills. That's cool. But we watch some YouTube videos and we think we can handle it. Are we crazy to even try it?
Well, I mean, I don't think you're crazy to try it, Chase. You know, if you want to tackle a plumbing project, you just need to be able to turn off the valve that supplies the water to that faucet. And that's the tricky part. If it turns off easily and you don't really have to wrench it or wrap a towel around it or get a pipe clamp or anything like that, then it should be a project that you can do. But if it doesn't turn off that easily, then I say stop immediately because you could cause a lot more problems than it's worth. If you can turn off that valve, it's pretty easy to just swap it sort of piece for piece. You can watch some great videos online to help you with that, to sort of get you feeling more comfortable with how that process is done. But again, if you cannot turn off that water supply easily, don't attempt it. You will end up with a bigger project to tackle. But good luck with that, Chase. Enjoy your new home and enjoy your wonderful snowy Colorado winter.
Knowing the age of your house is key to figuring out what kind of repairs or improvements you need to make. Leslie has some tips to do just that in today's edition of Leslie's Last Word. Ms. Segretti?
Well, as long as there have been homes, there have been home repairs. And if you know the age of your home, problems common to homes built in that era could be avoided. So here's a couple of tricks of the trade that can help. Now, your plumbing fixtures like toilets and sinks are rarely replaced, and they can kind of clue you into your home's age. So if your home has its original toilet, you can remove the lid, you can look at the underside. Toilets are almost always date stamped by the manufacturer as they roll off the assembly line, and that date is typically expressed as a 4-digit number like 1954, but it also could maybe have a letter and be something like M54. So that's a good way to kind of know. And other plumbing fixtures like sinks have also been date stamped somewhere in their castings, but the toilet stamp is often the easiest to find. So if you can spot a date on a toilet, you can really bet your home was kind of constructed within a few months or a year of that date. Some other places that could be a good clue to the age of your house is the wiring. If you see knob and tube, that means 1920s and 30s. And actually, for the most part, you might see knob and tube wiring in an attic, but it's usually been disconnected and you just sort of see the remnants of it. So that's a good clue that your house was built in that time period. If you see steel plumbing pipes, that was used anywhere from the early 1900s to the 1940s. If you've got a newer house, you might even see a serial number on heating and cooling systems, and that can include a date from the manufacturer. So if you know when-ish your house was built, you can kind of anticipate some home repairs that could be coming up down the line and just kind of mentally prepare for them budget-wise and plan for those projects that could be heading your way anytime soon. Well, that's all we've got for you this hour here on the Money Pit. Are you a last-minute holiday decorator? Well, first impressions matter, so we're going to share some tips to help you with the first thing your guests see, your front door. Whether it's classic or contemporary, we're going to show you how to make it stand out. We hope you're enjoying all of these very busy holiday weekends, whatever you have going on. We're so thrilled to be part of it with you. Remember, guys, we're here to lend a hand. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time on The Money Pit. Remember, you can do it yourself, but you don't have to do it alone.
On the Money Pit Radio Show. On the Money Pit Radio Show. Pick up the telephone, fix up your home sweet home by calling 888-MONEY-PIT.
The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our US-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.